Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Okay, you know I love this music. Where's our Halloween theme music?
Oh, yeah.
I love Sam Spence, NFL Films, all that, but come on. We can't. Is there some copyright thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Later in the show, we'll get some Halloween music.
Ross is going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
all of our guests today are sponsored by Basant Motors. Due to popular demand, Basant Motors is continuing its 31st anniversary celebrations. Check out BasantMotors.com to see all the great deals. Learn more at BASANTMotors.com. As we bring in from the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Westwood One, and CBS Sports, Ross Tucker, how are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome. Happy Halloween, fellas. And I did not realize that Ryan had his own camera. That changes everything. When Ryan does the silly giggle, I want that on camera. I'm producing the show now too from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
So when Ryan starts giggling when I make fun of Rick, I want a Ryan giggle cam.
Yeah. If you're offering to produce this show, we'll take you up on that offer.
Yeah.
Trust me, the way things are going around here. Yeah. Hey, you know Bill Belichick, 70 years old. Patriots beat the Jets yesterday. 23 wins away from passing Don Shula for number one on the coaches' wins list. Do you see him sticking around for that?
Yes. I would be surprised if he doesn't. Number one, I don't know what else he would do. You know, he really, really likes coaching football. He loves it. And he's a guy that's going to do it, I think, as long as someone will let him do it. I think he's going to do it a while. Now, he wants to go out on his own terms, I'm sure. But he is very much a historian of the game. He loves the history of the NFL. He would like move into NFL films if they would let him, which is why they always let the coaches and players be mic'd, but nobody ever sees that footage except for when the Patriots win the Super Bowl. Then miraculously, there's a documentary about their season. We never hear about the other seasons where it doesn't work. But no, I think he wants that record. I think he wants them all, Donnie.
Yeah, and Ross, I think deep down, you tell me, does he enjoy the press gatherings, which it seems like he doesn't enjoy?
I don't know. That's a good question. You know, I can tell you this much. When I was there, every morning, it would seemingly be like a long time. He would be on the treadmill and he would have a stack of clips this thick of everything written about the Patriots and everything written about the opponent. And he would have a highlighter. And as he's walking on the treadmill, highlighting stuff over and over again. I mean, and so I think part of it was to read the quotes and any nuggets of information from the opponent that could somehow be utilized to the Patriots' advantage, but also to give Patriots players like me when I was there a heads up on what the storylines would be for the game and essentially what your response would be. 2005 wild card matchup against the Jaguars. Jacksonville coming up to New England. He said they're going to ask you about the weather. Weather's no factor. It's same for both teams. Like literally. And he knew from reading the articles on Monday and Tuesday what they would ask, and Wednesday morning what they would ask us Wednesday and Thursday, and basically told us the answers that we were supposed to give ahead of time.
Yeah, I love that because coaches like him, or a lot of coaches, I don't read anything, I don't listen to anything, I don't watch anything.
They do.
Then you have a story like yours. Hey, Ross, Seahawks win again, 5-3. What do you remember about Geno Smith and his early days with the Jets?
Such a great question. I remember him not performing well at all, to my recollection. I remember him doing something, and I can't even remember what it was, that caused a teammate to punch him and break his jaw. I remember it being a disaster with the New York Jets. And sometimes some of these organizations, you start to think, is it the player or is it the organization? You know, like how much? And I don't know that that's the case with Geno. And maybe he's just better now because he's been in the league a long time, or he's more mature, or whatever you want to say. I don't know. But there are some teams out there that you start to wonder how hard it is to have success when you're with them as a coach or as a quarterback.
Ross, Russell Wilson on his little trip to England announces to everybody that he was working out while the rest of the players were all sleeping. I don't get it, Ross. What is it with this guy? It's almost like he is at the top of a mountain and screaming, "Hi, everybody, look at me." Like, what is it? Like, I don't get it.
You know, it's kind of a shame, Rick, because I was a big Russell Wilson guy.
Yeah.
You know, the last 10 years. And you guys know, I've been coming on your show for a while now. Mm-hmm. I'm a big supporter of his. I've liked the way he's handled himself until about the last 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Now it's just gotten weird.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, those commercials were so bizarre. Like, who is his handler?
Yeah.
Who is overseeing how he acts in these commercials and with the media? I'm surprised that he didn't think it out in his head, because he's a very, at least I thought, a very measured guy.
Yeah.
And everything he says, it's purposeful. I'm just surprised he didn't think to himself, you know, it would feel a little weird if I came across saying that I worked out for 4 hours on an 8-hour flight.
Yeah.
And to especially say while my teammates were sleeping.
Yep.
It's amazing to me that it didn't trigger in his brain, this might not be a good thing to say. This might not be the right thing to say.
Vikings, 5 straight wins. They're 6-1, but one of their players in the postgame last night said, "We're not getting the respect." Are you giving them respect, Ross, as to where they are right now?
Sure. Yeah, I think they're a good team. I think they're going to win the NFC North. But, you know, the one time everybody saw them, right, the nationally televised game against the Eagles on a Monday night, they got hammered. Yeah. You know, they got smoked. It wasn't even close. Now, maybe that says more about the Eagles than it does about the Vikings, but especially early in the year, you know, what you do in a primetime game is like 10 times more important in the court of public opinion. So the Vikings won a game, then they play Philly and get destroyed. So now they keep winning these other games, but everybody still remembers that Eagles game where they got destroyed. And they think, okay, that's nice that you're beating some of these teams that aren't that great, like the Arizona Cardinals at home at 1 o'clock. But we saw what happens when you play one of the big boys.
Yep. Ross, Christian McCaffrey, receiving and rushing touchdowns, throws for another. I know the NFL is full of great athletes, some of whom played point guard in high school. But how many players, I don't need an exact number, but how many players do you think are capable of doing what he did on Sunday?
Great question. Not many. Not many at all. Because it's not, first of all, not many people can carry the ball 18 times in an NFL game. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, be talented enough as a receiver to catch the ball 8 times, including that catch in the end zone. That was a really special catch. And then also be able to throw a touchdown like he did. He's a very, very gifted player. It's so interesting because I know his dad really well, Ed, who was on my podcast last week, the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. And, you know, Ed's a tall guy. Ed's like 6'3", 6'4", and he's got 4 boys. 2 of them are super tall, you know, like 6'4". Yeah. One of them's only like 6'2". And then Christian's the outlier at like 5'9", 5'10", yet he's the most dynamic of them. It's really interesting how that works, that, you know, the smallest of the McCaffrey's 4 boys is the most gifted one.
Steelers and Eagles. Eagles win again. How big is that? I mean, this might be an obvious question, but how big of a deal is that rivalry, is that matchup in Pennsylvania? Different conferences, of course.
It is, but it means a lot to the people in Pennsylvania. In fact, so you guys will love this, but I was there to do the first hour of the pregame show, but I only do the first hour now. So the next 2 hours, my buddy and brought my wife down, so I tailgated. It was amazing. Like,
wow.
If I could, it would really not be nice to be like super duper rich. I would like to be a professional tailgater. Mm-hmm. I think I'd be excellent at it. You know, there's really only 3 things you need to do. You need to eat a lot, drink a lot, and act silly, crazy. Those are like my 3 food groups. Like those are like my 3 best things. It was so fun. And then there was actually a lot more Steelers fans than I expected, but that's because in central Pennsylvania, there's a lot of Steelers fans. Yeah. And so they came to the game with their Eagles fans buddies. It's pretty cool. Yeah. You know, if they played that game at Penn State, it would be amazing. I mean, they get 110,000 people, and they could get 55,000 Eagles fans on one side, 55,000 Steelers fans on the other side. It would be epic.
You mentioned 3 things that you would do as a rich kid. Don't forget a 4th, skiing, right?
Buy a mountain.
Yeah, I would still ski. Yeah, I would still ski. Those would be my 4. Those would be my 4 things. I need Passant Motors to. Does Passant sell planes? Can they give me like a private plane and a pilot on the cheap? Because that's what I need.
Yeah,
but tailgating is so fun. I heard recently, by the way, is it true that you guys don't tailgate in Canada? Is that right?
Yeah, there's laws and rules and regulations. It's not. It. People want it here.
They're trying,
but it's just not what it is down in the States.
That's such a shame. So really the rules are like it's open container things.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting because, like, I don't understand, but like in the United States, you can't have an open container unless evidently you're within like a 1,000 yards of a football stadium. Then you can have. A million. I don't know what. Like, if you're on a college campus and you're walking around with a can of beer, like you are busted like that. Yeah, but if there's a game that day, there's no rules.
There's no rules.
If there's a game that day, everybody's just walking around with open can. I don't know if there's rules on the books or they just look away because it's kind of hilarious, actually, now I think about it.
Yeah, because the Canadian Football League, has some issues, and I think one of them is in most of the cities, you can't tailgate. And make it an event versus just a football game. Nothing against football, but it has to be more than that.
No, Donnie, you're 1,000% right. I mean, being in the parking lots yesterday at the Eagles-Steelers game, I mean, that's where the real fun's going down. I mean, the music's blaring, everybody's outside, eating, drinking, having a great time. I mean, tailgating is more fun than the actual game itself. And I've been to a CFL game. I went to see, I went in British Columbia.
Yeah, the Lions. Yeah.
I went to the BC Lions, and I was very surprised and disappointed. I went early with my wife because I wanted to try to hit up some tailgates. Rick told me to come to a tailgate, and then there was no tailgate there.
Rick was in charge of the party that day. That was the problem.
Next time you're in town, I'm taking you out, Ross. I'm taking you out.
So, but they drink a lot at the games, right? Like at the Canucks game?
Well, that's been an issue too here.
The price of beer is an issue, Ross. It's stupid. It's crazy.
The Lions had a rep. There was a lot of drunk people at Lions games not that long ago.
Yeah.
And
hold on a second. So how much is a beer at a Canucks game?
Well,
how much is a beer at a Canucks game?
It's close to $20, over $20 now.
And your
Ross.
firstborn.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
$20 for one beer?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
You know what?
It's up there.
So here's the thing, just so you know, if that happened in the United States, okay, everybody. Now look, they charge a decent amount for beers in the United States.
Yeah.
But you would just tailgate. You would just drink so much more before the game. That you don't actually have to drink during the game.
I've said that for years.
Yep.
Thank you very much. That's a bigger problem than tailgating.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good
Bang
point.
on. Hey, Ross, we're over time here, believe it or not. Thanks for doing this, my friend.
It's the non-football stuff that makes this segment.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we just solved NATO stuff right there. With
that's
tailgating and
next
beer
week.
Prices.
Yeah,
this show's unbelievable. See you guys,
Ross. Thanks a lot, Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Westwood One, CBS Sports. Poll question. Ryan came up with this. We'll introduce it next. Donnie and Dolly, the team on check.